made best friends in 10 years. Spreading false information and rumors. That's all you're doing. You're a predator. You're harmful to the gay community. As far as I'm concerned, nobody should even believe anything you say at this point, even about your sister. And I'm sorry to say that, but you're not an honest person. When you come on here and you show that you're spreading rumors and misinformation for clout, we can't trust anything you say. So how do we even know what you're saying about your sister is true at this point? I don't know the backstory. It could be true. But at this point, you, Melanie, are responsible for lying and for spreading false information. So you're sitting here literally telling the whole world you can't be trusted, that the things that you say can't be trusted because all you do is spread misinformation and rumors, harmful rumors that can harm other people's real life. You are a predator as far as I'm concerned, Melanie. If you don't like being talked about, maybe you should talk about other people. How's that?
And I've seen James's autopsy as well. He most certainly did not have anything.
No, he didn't.
His autopsy
This is the fucked up part, is Mario didn't even give him... Mario's the one that got him upset that day that he went to the beach. Mario's the ex that everybody's referring to, and Kane knows this, but Kane wanted to spread misinformation to harm me, and Dalton and all of them are just believing it. But the fact of the matter is, Mario didn't even give James AIDS. James didn't have AIDS. And if you know anything about the gay community, you know referring to it as AIDS is actually harmful these days. It's HIV. Spreading that stigma is horrible because most people know within the gay community that most people with HIV and living with HIV are on medications that control it and they become undetectable, which means there's zero risk of them passing it on. So the fact that you all are spreading this harmful stigma about the gay community proves that you don't give a shit about the gay community. You're not just causing harm to me, you're causing harm to an entire community. Lady Guinevere, you as well. You guys don't give a shit about anybody but yourselves.
Why do they find it necessary to smear James's reputation? The man died. He's dead. He has a family, for God's sakes. They hear this stuff too. Doesn't anybody even think of that? No, it's better to just tell the story and make up whatever you want.
Because the fact of the matter is, if James's story gets heard, then my story gets heard. And there's too many grifters and frauds on this app that do not want my story heard.
Well, too bad, because this story is going to get heard. It's being heard, and that's what's scaring them.
You know,
I just wanted to clarify something real quick because I don't know what happened in the comments when she disconnected, but there's a lot of people saying don't bring up her little sister. I didn't.
Fuck her little sister.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
I'll bring up whoever the fuck I want. I'm sorry. I don't trust Mel or anything. Mel did this to herself. I'm sorry. I don't know her little sister. I don't know her. I don't know if it's true or not. But Mel has no reason to make those false allegations against me. If you're going to disrespect me, you have no right to tell me that I have to respect you.
Really? Honestly, her sister's the only reason I've tried my best to remain nice throughout this situation. Because what I was just about to tell her is if she and Dee and them cared so much about the Aubrey Wyatt situation, which they say they do, you would not support somebody who is literally a grown version of Molly Niblett. A grown version of her. That's who you guys are supporting. That's why I was so upset with you, girly. It's not. I'm not even upset with Mel, even after all the awful things she says and calls me, because I know she was duped by a complete psycho.
Predator in your box that you knew, Dalton. You knew, because I posted the proof and it's still posted and pinned to my page on this page. It's still pinned on this page that you knew that this person right here, Pull Up for Justice crew, Jenny, the false advocate, the fake ally, the one who's sitting here saying that this whole page is dedicated to speaking out against victims of police brutality, but yet she made a victim of police brutality sing in a video with the officer who took him out of this world. A victim that didn't do anything to anybody because he passed in 2012. How do you support that?
Can't you sue for people going around saying that you have AIDS when you don't? Can't you sue for that?
It's okay to say HIV. It's okay. You can say it out loud.
2.5 hours yesterday, and if you want to be added to the report, Melanie, keep it up.
That's really not something you should spread about. That's what I don't like is why,
Casper, it's okay. You can say AIDS. You can say HIV.
Okay.
It's okay to say HIV.
Start referring to it as
word.
HIV because it's not.
It's not a scary word. It's not a scary thing.
It's not AIDS anymore. It's HIV. If you're going to be talking about the gay community and inserting yourself in gay people's business, Learn how to fucking speak about it. Not talking to the people in the boxes. I'm talking to Melanie and them.
No, that's why I'm clarifying, because I don't know how to speak about it. So I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
No, it's
I don't know
okay to
this
say
other
HIV.
person, so I'm gonna get ready. Softball mom, what's going on?
Well, I just had a question. Well, not a question. It was more of a concern about, you said the AIDS and everything was to the gay community. Nowadays, you don't have, I mean, yes, it's more prodded into the gay community, but you can be straight and get AIDS. I worked in the medical field for 20 years, and, that you can get AIDS anyway.
So most people are not getting, I'm going to say this really quick. Most people are not getting AIDS anymore. It's HIV.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And so sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah.
But thank you. You're making great points, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but children get it now.
Ryan White got it in
parents are so
1980 something.
disgusting. We had a case down here in Tampa that a 5-year-old ended up with HIV because the mom wanted to silence her child, so she doped him up with cocaine, and now the child is positive.
Wow.
So, it's sad.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Softball mom, I used to live in Tampa, and I lived in Tampa from 1992 until 2000. I moved into Fort Myers in 2000 to 2004 after James and I broke up and I was dating somebody else. And then in 2004, I moved back to Tampa for a while till I moved to Anchorage in 2008. But James was actually killed at Honeymoon Island. That was his favorite beach. He was killed in Honeymoon Island when I was living in Connecticut at the time. So
I am unfortunately born and bred here in Florida.
Oh, wow.
I was, Odessa, Florida. I got married, and my husband moved me to Akron, Ohio. I was up there for only 2 months when I found out he was cheating on me with his boss. So I moved back home, and I haven't moved back. And yes, I am one of those typical Floridarians that have never seen snow.
Well, I liked Florida. I liked when I lived down there. I made a lot of friends down there, a lot of good friends. I still keep in touch with a lot of people, but I don't think I could live there now.
My daughter plays softball down here, and we're actually on our way to a college showcase, and it's absolutely miserable. Yesterday, it reached 102 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
So,
but yeah,
gratefully, the fields are like the cars. You can back it up right up to the fence. So I stayed in my car with the air conditioning.
Well, I'm just curious because it made Florida news when it happened, but it was only on the news it was really only on the news for a matter of 3 days because it was 3 weeks after Trayvon Martin was taken out of this world, and I think the majority of the focus was on that. But do you remember the incident with James? Did you even hear about it? I know a lot of people don't know about it.
I try to stay out of the news because I worked at one of the main hospitals in the Tampa area, and I see daily stuff every day, and just going home and watching the news just made it even worse. I mean, I actually ended up leaving my job after a case at the hospital, and I work at a regular doctor's office now in a smaller town, but yeah, I don't really watch the news very much.
Yeah, and like I said, it didn't really make national news. It wasn't a lot of attention. And Melanie, I wanna let you know this, Melanie, if you're in the comments section. Those same rumors could be started about you or Dalton. How would you like that? Knowing it's completely false, people can just make up lies about you as well. Would you like people spreading that shit about you? Because that's exactly what you're doing, and you're a predator for doing so. You're a predator for allowing a predator and supporting a predator. How do you sit here and say you stand against DVs when you're supporting the very people that your cult leader knew was a predator?
Well, and if I may, Brandon's in the box, and before he leaves, he was in Jennifer Torres's live the other day, so he knows that it's still continuing, and it's not due to me; it is due to them. I went into her live for 0.2 seconds and was disrespected, and I'm like, and I'm out.
Yes, Mud Bunny. There was police involved in James's death.
What's that?
Who is
There's
this
some
talking
section
about?
from the article. It looks like police had part in James's death. I'm assuming she's talking about James's death. And
Yeah,
yes,
the
they
police are the only
him.
ones that took James's life. Mario got him upset that day, but not me. And they're trying to put me in Mario's shoes. And
No,
the reason Mario got him upset was not the reason that Kane Allen and everybody is saying.
Were they there? How would they know?
No, and I was literally, I've played the audio that I have from James's aunt. I still have the old iPhone that she left the voicemail message on. I've posted pictures proving that I'm still friends with them on Facebook because they tried to claim that he had a restraining order. I've posted conversations between, in fact, Bam, you're in here. This man right here, and the woman in the upper corner, Brandy, have seen messages between me and James's aunt that I don't share with too many people.
Can you make that bitch mod, please? The comments are getting a little out of control.
Who?
So I have one more
Somebody
thing to
was in
say
there
before I
after
actually go, because my daughter's got to play in here in an hour. Did everybody see the story about the doctor whose son got unalived by cops because he was playing with a toy gun, and a neighbor got scared, and they called the police, and the police came in there, and the kid freaked out, and they unalived him.
Yes.
And she used to be a doctor, and she got revenge on the police officer. She actually found a HIV positive patient, took his blood, and stuck the cop.
Oh, wow.
And it was all over the news, and he actually, I guess the last time I checked, he actually tested positive.
Wow.
So, and she, as she said in the court, an eye for an eye.
Hey, I mean, I can't say I disagree.
I gotta leave that one alone, because if you're pointing fake or not, a cop has a split second, and they don't know if it's a fake gun or a real gun you're pointing at them. So the best part is don't point a gun, fake or real, at a cop, and they probably won't shoot you.
I agree with that. Yeah, he should have just dropped it and put his hands up, but
it was a child, though, right?
I feel bad
child,
for them.
though? Was it a child?
Yes, he was. I believe they said he was 10 or 11 years old.
Not, I'm sorry, Dar, I love you, but a child does not. A 10-year-old child.
I love Dar's passionate side.
There was a young kid in upstate New York a couple of weeks ago that pointed a BB gun at a cop, and he got killed.
The cops are supposed to be.
And I feel bad for the family. I truly do, but don't point a gun at a cop.
I mean, I have to agree with Dar on that one.
Guys, can I say this really quick? First of all, if it's a child, police, and I know this because my father was a cop, and he used to take me to the shooting range, and he used to take me to where you're actually supposed to be able to decipher about whether it's a child, whether it's somebody in danger or not, even to the point where I remember, because, it was a simulated thing, and we're talking years ago, but it was a simulated thing, and I accidentally pulled the trigger on somebody who is literally deaf and going to show me their license, their wallet, and I thought it was a gun, and I pulled the thing. And it wasn't a real situation, but still, like, you're supposed to be able to decipher whether it's really a situation.
But if it looks like a gun, this kid had a gun. It was a BB gun. It looked like a handgun. How do they know that in a split second?
I'm not
saying it's right to kill the kid. That's not what I'm saying. And I feel really bad that a child got killed. But you know what? At the end of the day, and you say back when I was a kid, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, for Christ's sakes, you respect cops, for God's sakes, and I'm sorry, but it's a different world these days. Kids walk around now, they're 12, they're 13, they're 14, they're going into doing mass shootings in schools and stuff like that. So if I'm a cop, the first thing, if you point a gun at me,
don't get me banned.
You're done.
Hey, Dar, I agree with you right there. I do. As much as I'm anti everything.
I feel bad for any parent that has lost their child like that. I absolutely do. And please don't think that I'm this heartless witch that thinks that kids deserve to die. That's not what you need to teach your children differently. You still have to protect. You have to not do that. And if a cop says, put your hands down, and if they're doing something that they're not supposed to do, then you can deal with it with your lawyers in a different manner in a little bit. You know what I mean?
Children, I don't think a 10-year-old is supposed to know better. I really don't.
Yeah,
I did it 10. I knew better than to
I
do
knew better
that.
not to point
I
guns
grew
at
up in a
cops.
house full of guns.
I knew better not to even fuck with cops when I was
What if
10.
it's a child with a disability?
Exactly.
I'm just saying, what if it's a child with a disability that may not know better?
Then that's your parents got to take care of it. Your guns should be locked up. You should need to take care of them. If you have a child that you cannot raise to not handle guns safely or know not to touch that, it will break your butt. Like we were raised, you touch that, it would break your ass, and that's it. And then we were locked and loaded in my house all the time.
That's how I was
Okay,
raised.
I totally
Same
agree
shit.
with that. The only problem is nowadays you can't raise your hand to your child because I had a DCF called on me because my daughter was being a poophead, and I grabbed her arm and pulled her closer, and I go, "You are not going to act like this in front of people, or I'm going to whoop your rear end." And I got DCF called on me because I threatened my child. I'm like, "Are you
I'd have
serious?"
told them motherfuckers to get the fuck off my property.
I have a friend that happened too. Her daughter called her the see you next Tuesday. This is true story too. Straight up facts. See you next Tuesday. Her daughter called that. She's 16 years old. My friend didn't take any crap from her kids. And again, I'm 60 years old. So, I'm a little bit older than most of you guys. And she hauled off and whacked her kid like right across the face. Like wham, her head went back about 6 inches. I swear the kid got a concussion. The next thing you know, the cops are knocking at the door. Before she answered the door, she made her daughter go up and grab her suitcase, and she opened up the door. She goes, "Here you go." And they went, "Well, what? We're just here to investigate the fact that you hit her." "No, if you're going to come in and tell me how to parent my children, you should take her right now." And we're not prepared to do that. She said, "All right, shut the door." She said, "Tell them go screw themselves, shut the door." And they walked away.
Yup.
I
Oh,
told my
okay,
daughter,
so-
"You want to call DCF on me? That's fine. Because you know what? I can use a 48-hour break."
Oh my God.
My kids were all told
They-
that in school. And again, I know there are kids, and we're kind of making light of this situation. There are kids out there that do matter, that get in trouble for this. But 1 minute, Jill, it's just been kind of funny. My daughter said that, came home from school and said that to me. And I said, "Well, by the time you better hope they get here quickly." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because if you call DCYF on me, you're going to have a reason, and you will be black and blue before they get here." She went
Hey
back to
guys,
school and said, "Nope, not going to call them."
I want to give somebody new in here. I don't know who they are.
I'm sorry, Dave.
But Alley Cat came up and I think has a question.
No,
Can
no
you go ahead and
question.
jump? I'm sorry. Can I say one thing before? Can you dump me out because I actually do have to go and I can't get off.
Oh yeah.
So
But thank you for having
actually,
me.
I wanted
Softball Mom,
to
thank
touch
you
on
for coming up.
something softball said. If
Oh.
you don't mind, 1 second.
Do you, Softball
Okay.
Mom,
So
do you have
my
time?
mom, if you have 1 second,
Do you have time,
softball.
Softball Mom?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my mom has legal custody of 2 of her grandchildren from my stepsister. Okay, and my little brother, who she adopted, who's 14 now. At the time, he was like 10, 11 years old, and he was stealing. He was doing things that deserved a butt whooping. And do you know the DCFS caseworker told my mother, as long as there is no physical markings from a belt or other things, it is okay to spank your child.
Oh, wait. Okay, in the state of Florida, you cannot.
Yes, state of Florida. State of Florida
Okay.
told my mom that.
I was told that I cannot physically, mentally abusing is a no-no, and that's what I was considered doing, was mentally abusing my daughter because I was threatening to hit her.
Look into that. My mom lives in Pasco County.
Oh God.
I can
That's
tell
where
you
that's where James is.
County.
The guy that killed him is now working, is in Port Richey Police Department. He was fired for homicide from the Department of Environmental Protection Agency, and then he made some complaints to the Florida Leo Board, and he's now working for the Port Richey Police Department in Pasco County, which he refers to as Trashco County, showing how much he cares about the community he's serving.
Same in my state.
I want to tell you, Washington,
I live in Pasco County.
Pasco County is one of the worst counties you could ever live in. I am a DV survivor.
Absolutely.
Trigger warning, I lost a child due to DV.
I'm so sorry.
I was 6 months pregnant. The day I left is the day I unfortunately lost my son. When I tell you, this man is still walking free, and we know how Florida works. When you get out of prison, you have PPR. Any violent crime, you're supposed to get the max sentencing for that, correct?
Unless you're a cop.
And well,
Or
listen,
know somebody.
because I was afraid for my life. I moved back to my hometown. I moved away from people who I was afraid to be around. They dropped the case because I was not there to defend myself. But they had all of the legal paperwork. So Pasco County is trash. It is trash.
not
And he's
just
a horrible
Pasco.
cop for
Not
that.
just Pasco, but oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, sophomore mom.
Well, I was going to say, I live in Pasco County, so I totally understand that, and I get that because my daughter, her father left her when she was 2 weeks old. And so my husband now tried to adopt her, and it took almost, I want to say 9 years for us, for Pasco County to allow her to be adopted by him.
You know, so Joesph Tactic is the officer. He was a Department of Environmental Protection officer when he was let go from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department. He was put on a paid leave. March 17th, 2012 is when the attack happened. James's body was resuscitated, even though he was gone in his brain. I'm trying to be careful so I don't get bananaed how I word things.
Yeah.
So his official date of death is March 19th, 2012. Joesph Tactic was put on a paid leave of absence when this happened until the autopsy came out. The autopsy came out, I believe it was August later that year, which I have a copy of. Again, for the rumor mill, James never contracted AIDS. He never was in danger of that, as far as I know, unless something happened with Mario years after they broke up. But they had been broken up for several years too. The aunt did try to scare the officer at one point from the water because the officer was literally beating him to death and there was so much blood. Per the aunt, what she said herself was she was worried about sharks coming up. If you guys know Honeymoon Island, you're from that area, you know about the sharks in Honeymoon Island. So according to the aunt, she said to the officer, hey, you might want to get out of the water. His ex just got diagnosed with AIDS. She said that to try and scare the officer out of the water because of how much blood she saw in the water. The officer, according to Aunt Paula, looked at his fist, which was all cut up from beating the hell out of James, and according to her, she said, Joe, he must have thought that it was too late because the beatings got worse. James's cause of death is from complications of blunt trauma and asphyxia. He literally had fragments of shell and salt water in his lungs. So for people to sit here and say that I caused this, you're fucking disgusting. Mel, you're fucking disgusting. Don't ever fucking come in my box again, you fucking nasty ass bitch. If I get flagged for harassment right now, I don't care. This is for educational and awareness purposes only. This is my opinion, TikTok. I'm not bullying and I'm not harassing. I'm stating my opinions of the trash people that are on this app spreading the most vicious, vile, disgusting rumors about a victim of police brutality to try and get to me. You're not going to do it. The more you try to silence me, the louder I'm going to be. Joesph Tactic is the one that took James's life. He was later rehired after he was fired for the autopsy coming out and saying homicide. He was later hired. He's currently actively working at the Port Richey Police Department in Pasco County as a Marine Patrol. He's got a cush job. He does not care about what he did. He refers to himself as a killer. He has joined the Army since and been praised in the newspapers, which is how I found him again. And I personally went to his Instagram and I raised hell all over his Instagram. If I'm not afraid of a fucking cop in Florida, do any of you think on here that I'm going to be afraid of you? I literally went to his Instagram and let his entire Instagram, friends and family, know what type of person he is. Jenny, I understand on your Pull Up for Justice group page, the one that fights against police brutality, where you made this victim of police brutality sing with the officer who took him out of this world, and this is the person Mel and Dalton are supporting. I'm fully aware, Jenny, that you reached out to Joesph Tactic, the officer who took James's life. I'm fully aware. You made that video. You made sure that I saw it, where you reached out to him. But I'm reaching out to somebody's abuser. Can you prove that? Can you prove that? Because I've never seen proof of that, just your claims, but you've posted your own proof where you reached out to the person that killed James.
And she's also posted the proof where she's reached out to my abuser.
That part. The gaslighting is fucking unreal. And Dalton and Melanie, I'm telling you, Melanie, keep it fucking up. I'm telling you, Rissa, keep it the fuck up, because Dalton got added to that police report yesterday. You want to see, I mean,
It's
There's
Kenzie
plenty of people,
too.
there's people in here that literally saw the screenshots from my Ring doorbell showing that he was here 2.5 hours.
There she is.
Who?
No, it was that Ken's whatever little
Oh,
demon
Thunderbird.
Ken's. She did too, and I got that bitch's shit screen recorded where she was putting shit up on her green screen. She could fuck herself too because I already found her. She was an easy find.
Who? I need
Little
this
demon
person's
Ken's or whatever.
I need Rissa's information. I need Rissa's
Okay.
information, and I need Melanie's information. And I know
All right.
just by me saying that, my inbox is probably going to be full with their information.
Hey, I got 2 screenshots where 2 chicks were talking shit in somebody's live sent to me too.
And Gremlin, you're next.
But you got Reddit like blowing the fuck up on all of his fuck shit, so they're blowing up on
People
all of his
haven't
fuck
learned by
shit.
now,
What the
I've
fuck
got
is
0
Reddit?
bucks left.
It's another social media app. Which
It's like a social media news app. It's like
Oh, so
his
that
own little
I've made
fucking
a
page
fucking
dedicated to
social
fucking
media
Dalton's
because of
bullshit.
that pink-haired
And I
shit
got shit
too.
on Reddit. What was it? Nicky or one of those guys put a whole thing up. Oh no, it was Danny Torres put a thing up on me on Reddit.
Hey, Ratlin, you know you're on
I have a
Reddit
picture
now,
of my
too, right?
husband and
Hey
shit
man, I feel
from
like a
his-
fucking
from his,
celebrity. What can I say?
obituary.
And by the way, Reddit,
We made it
I don't know
famous.
why you guys got an issue with me other than you're believing shit blindly. So I'm just saying.
Did you hear what I said
No,
about
everything I seen, Joe, they're not believing Dalton blindly. They're not believing any of that shit. They're
Oh,
just,
they're believing shit about me blindly, but I have a feeling that some of the people on Reddit, I have a feeling one of the people on Reddit might be Girl from Casino. I'm just saying.
well, yeah. But
so-
I will say this: the posts that I've seen, even though whoever's commenting or whatever, whoever it is, there's several of them that say that they don't like you, but you still didn't deserve that.
Well, I'll show you some
So-
DMs. There's some people on Reddit that are being very kind and considerate, and there's one person at least on Reddit that's being really.
Every always gonna have that one idiot, Joe. You know.
Yeah, the
I
person
watched.
that evidently run the page.
I was in Dalton's live watching, and I will admit that. So when his little trolls are coming in here, because I see them coming in here,
I don't
How
know this
much-
person.
there was one, keep him and her name out of your mouth.
They have
I
the right-
think
I'm 60 years old. I will say whatever the hell I want. If any little children want to come up against me, that's rock and roll. Shut the hell up and go play in the sandbox, you little.
Oh, guys, I gotta
away.
restart.
So,
Hey, guys.
restart. I will be back.
I
Look
gotta
what you did,
restart.
Brandon.
Peace.
I'll be right back.
order. And after we will unboxing for you. But if you haven't returned to our live stream in 24 hours, we're gonna send random blind box out to you.